Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan MS Pitts. It's Ukraine War breaking news update. I guess it's sort of a summation for a day for the 26th of February 2024. All sort of 2 days really, because one of these bits of kit I reported on yesterday. Okay, what am I reporting? I'm reporting some bad news. It's been a bad day at the office for the Ukrainians, with a number of pieces of equipment destroyed by the Russians, or at least looking like they have been destroyed. Now, couple of caveats. There are some saying that Russia dumped a load of footage today that might well have been taken over a period, and some are surmising that that dumping might be to try and protect from some particular bit of bad news today. I don't know what it might have been or was, but sometimes the Russians, to try and divert attention, will dump a load of footage that makes them look like they've had a really good day and a really good and are in a really good position to divert away from some other issue over here. However, whatever might be behind this footage turning up today, all of these together it's just not great news for Ukraine. If you really want to paint this in the most positive light for Ukraine, if that's your thing, the reality is this is war and stuff like this gets destroyed. You're going to expect it. Like, these bits of kit aren't magic, and if Ukraine are going to be provided with decent, modern, westernized Western equipment, then that stuff's going to get used. It is war. It's going to get blown up. So, it's what you're going to expect. The other, I guess, positive way of looking, maybe a couple of these, is you're not 100% sure that they definitely got destroyed. But come to that a little bit later. So first we're going to go to actually what War Vehicle Tracker says to finish off the day. We're going to start kind of at the end of his summation, because he gives a list of stuff that was destroyed. So to finish the day off, a Danish-supplied Ceasar 8x8 self-propelled howitzer, a decent bit of kit, and Denmark could provide, they are now due to provide all of their artillery to Ukraine. This 8x8 Ceasar self-propelled howitzer was destroyed by Russian Zala Lancet, which hit into the ammo stowage, causing the ammunition cook-off. Okay, so this is a Ceasar that was... So this was a Ceasar that was hunted, and there you go. It was then destroyed by a Lancet. Lancet seemed to be causing quite a bit of issue for the Ukrainians at the moment. But that's to add to an Abrams that is at least damaged. This is mentioned as destroyed here. That the most positive look for that is that it's damaged, but I will bet my bottom dollar it's destroyed. I'll talk about that in a second. As mentioned, a NASAMS, so that's the Norwegian or American national air defense system. That is a decent bit of kit. They've got a number of those, but still, and they've got some on order. Canada's still having one made for them. To lose one of those that's a real kick in the teeth. An Archer as well, self-propelled howitzer from the Swedes, being possibly destroyed. That's one where it's not conclusive. And a P-18 radar system that I reported yesterday. Okay, let's look at some of these then. So the NASAMS here, this is almost definitely destroyed. I've seen someone try and question this because the video cuts, but it's in a position, the video cuts, and that exact position is blown up. So, I think this is definitely blown up. Russia was able to destroy NASAMS air defense launcher that was located around Zaporizhia city in the village of Malishivka, 51 kilometers from the front line. This was the first NASAMS launcher destroyed by Russia. Ukraine can have anywhere from 23 to 47 NASAMS remaining. So actually, they do have, as mentioned, a number of these. Nice bit of music again. So this is the NASAMS there. You can see the field arrangements and the pattern of the field. And what happens is that's it, smoking and blowing up. So it is the NASAMS, but weirdly, it does this weird cut thing like that. And it goes all funky just at the point it's about to be hit, and then it's on fire. And so I've seen some people say, oh, there's a bit of a coincidental cut there, but it's in exactly the same place. That is the NASAMS. I bet my bottom dollar so that's blown up. Then we come on to the Abrams tank. Now, I mentioned this earlier in my frontline video where I talked about this and said, look, if you are going to have an Abrams spotted by a reconnaissance drone, then I would bet my mortgage that the Russians would not let that go. That's not like, oh, we've seen something there, okay, let's go and look for something else, or let's not worry about that, we can't hit it. That will be followed until that bad boy is blown up, because the Russians, first of all, they've got a reward out for these. I think it's like $100,000 or something for the first like Abrams that's taken out, or something like that. So the Russians will not have let this thing lie. Anyway, it was geolocated to just outside Berditsy, I think, near Stepover in the north of Avdiivka. It's just driving along, and then later you see this. So it's basically, it's on fire at the back. Now, some people have said, rightly so, that that's not necessarily destroyed, that the ammo storage is kind of at the back here and congested enough, I believe, if it's under a lot of pressure, if it's too much risk to it. But it doesn't look like that's happened. So, you could argue that's only damaged. But 100% for all the reasons I've just given, that if that was burning, that every single Russian drone pilot in the area is going to be hunting that thing still and dropping as much stuff on it. The Ukrainians are probably unlikely to be able to recover that, and the recoveries would be themselves under a lot of pressure from artillery, mortars and drones. So I put that down as being a very low probability of that surviving in any way and being recovered. I think the Russians will be absolutely chomping at the bit to prove that they have done that one over, being the first Abrams since the beginning of this war to have been destroyed. Right, then we have this Swedish Archer howitzer. We haven't really seen many of these being used. There's been a couple of bits of footage of them firing, but not really seen kind of in as we see here in drone footage and whatnot. We've seen images of this from the ground, almost like PR footage of Archers being fired. Anyway, let's go and look at this footage. Always good to see hear another bit of music. So what happens here? In fact, I can show this to you because really it doesn't show anything. So you got this is it looks like Lancet drone footage, genuine Lancet drone footage, and then it cuts out, as often with loitering munitions, kamikaze drones that don't have a spotter drone with them. They will cut out quite a bit before they explode, so you never actually see them explode if they are not with spotter drones, and that's why quite often it'll cut to the spotter drone showing you the explosion, but here that isn't the case. So we don't know what the Lancet did. The Lancet might have missed, it might have hit any part of that really, although there's quite a bit of speculation about it hitting the barrel and loader area. I mean, that's definitely where it was aiming for there. That's where it was going. So the Archer isn't moving. They aren't the easiest drones to control, the Lancets, and they can kind of drift a little bit. And if I was to be really charitable, I'd say there is a chance. Well, actually, we just don't know. There is a chance that the Lancet missed, that it bounced off it. We've seen a lot of Lancets. They're quite variable in the munitions they carry, actually, and also the success rate they have in doing damage to their target. So that's one of those ones where this is probably, for me, the highest probability of the thing surviving of all the ones we talked about, but still not really good news. And then I reported this one yesterday. This is a P-18 radar system that was definitely blown up, and yeah, that one is scattered liberally around a field. So as you can see there, that is a P-18 that is no more. It is pining for the fjords. So we have a number of bits of really quite high value equipment. On the one hand, quite high value equipment, but on the other hand, they're tanks and self-propelled howitzers. It could be that the P-18, the radar system there, it might be the highest value. It'd be interested to see what here has the highest value. Probably the NASAMS, but they but they have a lot of those. So it's not necessarily about like the replacement costs. I talked about this the other day with the A50. It's not that plane costs $330 million or whatever it is to construct. It's actually the value it gives in its operation to the Russians. And if they can't replace that, so the talk is today that they're trying to use drones, a whole slew of different drones to try and fill in the gaps of what the A50 would have been doing. And so, the value is in its function, right? So the value for these things is in their function. If you've got like 35 to 47 NASAMS or whatever, then losing that will be a kick in the teeth, but you can maybe fill in the gaps. And it could be that the P-18 does a greater, or is more valuable to what it offers to the air defense network in Ukraine. And the self-propelled howitzers and tanks, as valuable as they are, to buy as bits of kit and relatively new Western bits of kit, they probably will rank lower than the NASAMS and P-18, especially if they're struggling to get artillery ammunition for those pieces. So make of that what you will. I'd be interested in your opinion of this kind of haul. But that's definitely a bad day for the Ukrainians. We haven't seen a day like this or a list like this, I don't think, well, possibly since the beginning of the war. This might be the worst kind of range of equipment loss, but also bear in mind that it could be, this might have happened over like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know. And they're releasing it all on one day to really kick the Ukrainians in the teeth or to divert attention away from something else. So bear that in mind, but nonetheless, still significant losses for the Ukrainians. Anyway, that's enough from me. Take care. Speak soon.